Hey you guys, Amanda here. Rebels against government, no end because we don't like nuts in our government. Want to jump on and say happy MLK Day, happy General Lee Day. I celebrate both now. I have a mixed grandbaby, so I have to know that side of the heritage as well as my own because now it's all a part of her. It's blended. But there was something more important I wanted to talk about tonight. I had a lady come approach me. Um, I was talking about my back pain. You know, I've got an unstable disc and it hurts really bad from a wreck in 2016. And it just flares up if I sit too long or I stand too long or whatever. Anything I do, it hurts. But I don't take medications for it. I've just tried to grit my teeth and bear it. It's getting to the point where I'm going to have to do something soon. But she had said that she was in recovery as an addict for 2 years and that she had always felt like she was in pain because she was used to taking pharmaceuticals. She was used to taking ADHD medicines for years and years and years. And when she turned 18 and got cut off of them, she felt like she had to have something else to make herself normal because that had become normal for her. And I've broached on that before. It gets me emotional. I'm not going to cry right now, but I kind of teared up when she was talking to me because people that have followed me for years know I have a 22-year-old that was permanently affected from medications. When he was 5, there was a traumatic event, and instead of putting him through counseling and getting to the root of the problem and just talking it out, they put him on medication. I didn't like the medications because he kept telling me there were worms in his head and it just wasn't a good thing. I didn't feel like he needed it at the time. But the school ended up forcing me because they didn't want to deal with him. You know, I didn't have a problem dealing with him, but I was a single mother and I was working. I was working a lot because I had my daughter as well. And I wasn't receiving child support during that time. Like, it was me, you know. And I had to work. So I went along with the school. I let them force that medication on us. And my son's been permanently affected. He's 22 years old now, and he has permanent side effects from that. There's been probably 30 lawsuits on medications that he was taking. They were too strong a dosage for his age and his weight. And he was on so many different kinds I can't even, begin to explain. In 2015, I took him off, and I filed a complaint with the Department of Education on it. And they did get the people for Medicaid fraud. They were double billing and things of that nature. He was also involuntarily institutionalized a few times. There was one time he had been suspended from school for yelling out, disrupting the classroom. People were bullying him, and instead of beating them up or, reacting like that, he would yell out and try to get them to leave him alone or get some attention from a teacher, and he would be the one that was punished. So he was involuntarily institutionalized. He got suspended, and when I went to go take him back to the school, he wanted to go back to the suspension school. He went outside the door and sat right by the door waiting on me to come outside of the school. And they called the police and had him involuntarily institutionalized because they said he could have ran out into the road. He didn't make any attempt to run into the road. He went out and sat on the concrete outside the school. But they did that to show force to me that they could do what the hell they wanted to with my child. So I removed him from the school system in 2015, took him off all the medications, and I filed my complaint, which is where they got the Medicaid fraud. But my point of this is a woman approached me today, and when she was talking about her addictions, she said that she had been on ADHD medications, and when she had turned 18, they had kind of cut her off and she didn't have the money for them. And she was so used to taking the medication, she felt like she had to supplement it with something else. Now, I've said that before in my things, but I'm not a living testament of it because I'm not an addict. I've never been an addict. I don't even drink alcohol because I was drugged and left for dead in my 20s. Or I was about 18, 19. I was drugged and left for dead, and that's where my son Lane came from. So I don't ever let myself get out of my head or out of control or anything else. Marijuana, I do feel like that's a natural herbal, God-given medicine. Ginger, you can take that for headaches, GERD. Garlic is a cancer deterrent. There's this thing called soursop that's 10,000 times more effective than chemotherapy. But the medical system doesn't want you to know about it because it can actually stop their money. And the medicines that these doctors put you on that you could obtain naturally in your kitchen with spices and herbs actually add more ailments so that you have to add more medicine. That's a proven scientific fact. But she made me have tears today. She made me almost come to tears. She was telling me about her nephew. And she said that he was like Lane, because after she told me about her being an addict because of the ADHD meds, I told her about my experience with Lane, and she said she had a nephew like that, and he's deceased. He's deceased, but the medicines did that to him as well. And it just, to me, that's more important than MLK Day and General Lee Day. What they're doing to our children, because they target poverty children for the Medicaid system so they can commit Medicaid fraud. I mean, I'm telling you the truth. Anybody that knows me knows for the past 7 years, I have ran my mouth and I have paid for it greatly. But you know what? I don't regret none of it. I have done my American duty. God help me. I have exposed so many paid agitators, so much corruption. I'm still standing. That in itself is a miracle. That tells me that God wanted me to do what I've been doing for as long as I've been doing it. And he's telling me not to stop. So, I don't know how they're going to react when I run for office again, you guys, because I will be qualifying again this year. I will be Amanda Jennings. I will be on the ballot. I don't know if I'm running for Secretary of State again or if I'm going to run for Lieutenant Governor. It all depends on who and the chess players that are going to be moving around in the system, okay? But I do want to get in there because I think we need some common sense in our legislation and in our executive offices, because people have gotten the big head. People that are in colleges and outside of the real world and how these bills affect the little people, we need some real people in office. Like, we need a farmer in the Department of Agriculture. We need somebody that's going to prevent all these elites from buying up our farmland and controlling our food source. We need real people that know the effects of the things that they're pushing on us through the critical race theory and everything else. There was an issue about a Ouachita teacher that supposedly said the N-word for today. A coach witnessed it and turned her in or whatever. I don't know if that's true or not. Could be just more staged political propaganda. The woman might have did it. I don't know. I take everything with a grain of salt now because I've been the victim of fake messengers. There was a just ludicrous messenger that was sent, and it obviously wasn't sent from me because a year later the woman messaged me and we had never had any type of correspondence. And I told them that whenever it happened. I didn't make that. I think they made it to try to smear me. And the fact that I've been doing rallies and standing, and I've even stood up to the Black Panthers, you guys. And I have never, ever been rude to anybody. I grew up in Bastrop, Louisiana. It's primarily black. Get real. I don't know. It was ludicrous. And so, like, I don't believe half the stuff that I hear now. Like, what if that coach just didn't like her, or she wouldn't have sex with him, and he just decided to get rid of her. I don't even believe videos anymore because there's artificial intelligence. They can take your voice and program it and put it out there. They can make fake videos with doppelgangers, okay? I've seen that. Supposedly that Hillary video where she was ripping that child's face off was fake. I don't know if it was fake or not because they have done some sick stuff. But, take everything with a grain of salt that you see. Spread love. The only way to contradict all this hate and division and stupidity is love. Love makes the world go round, and the greatest love of all is learning to love yourself. Whitney Houston told you that. Remember it? But happy MLK Day. Happy General Lee Day. I love all of you, and I know I've been rambling, but that thing about the Medicaid fraud and them doping our kids up and turning them into addicts and permanently affecting their brains. I got a 22-year-old, y'all, and there's no fixing the damage that they did so they could make money off my kid. I love all y'all.